Hi guys, I am the Forest Dweller, and I can't make a happy video today because if I ignore this, then that'll be the same as saying it's okay and it's not okay. Let's get right into it here. Oh, first, a salute to all of the healthcare workers and all of the police officers that are toughing it out through these insane labor shortages. The police force in my big city, the local news reported last year, back in, I think it was January, short over 200 officers. And these officers that are working in conditions unlike any other they ever have. I don't like drinking, but I did yesterday. And cheers, my friends. To all the healthcare workers, and all the wonderful police officers out there. It's easy in this world to go to your computer, go to your video game, and ignore the chaos that's going on and not even notice it. If you do that too long, one of these days you'll wake up, you won't have a hospital, you won't have a policeman to protect you, you will not have a country. Okay. U.S. Chamber of Commerce. I'm just going to read this to you. I got it while I was at the library yesterday. We hear it every day from our member companies in almost every state. Right now, the latest data shows we have over 10 million job openings in the U.S., but only around 6 million unemployed workers. That means that if everyone unemployed got a job, we would still have 4 million open jobs. Now, Canada's government has the same problem. They have badly needed job. Canada's government plans to accept 1.45 million immigrants, skilled immigrants, by 2025, many with badly needed job skills. Now in the U.S., immigration legislation has stalled. We're not accepting any immigrants. No skilled immigrants, no nothing. And you know why? That's because the people in this country, the ones that are making all the noise, do not want immigrants. They think that, I don't know if it all started with that movie American History X. They think the immigrants are taking all their jobs. They're not. The immigrants that come into Florida, they take the jobs for $2-3 an hour. And you know what? They pay sales tax too. These foster kids, Covenant House, which is worldwide in Mexico, these kids, they flee the country. They don't want to come back. I talk to these guys all the time, and their answer is they're sending money back to Mexico. No, they're trying to get away from Mexico. A lot of these are young kids that have nowhere to go, and they go on the trail to America, and then they get stuck and locked in cages. Now, we get to what I wanted to talk about with the police shortage. In my city, I know it was at least 200, which is insane. The police shortage. In the early 1990s, roughly 500,000 sworn officers worked in the U.S., 213 per 100,000 people. During this time, crime began a long drop. The 1994 crime bill increased sworn officers by 150,000 because more officers, obviously, as you can see, meant less crime. By the millennium, it was 240 officers per 100,000. Now, suicide is now more common than dying on the line, and 40% higher than the general population with officers. Wow. Remember, it's only about 100 officers to 100,000 people. Now, Trump vocally supported police, but his administration tried to slash cops' budget and consolidate the office under the Justice Department's Office of Justice. Can't read my own handwriting. Okay, now the healthcare shortage. And before I go into, we want more police, I know the African American community is thinking, or a lot of them are thinking, well, police are killing us. Well, police now have, and they always, a lot of time, have had that. One, that's simply not true, and two, police are watched over by the civilian committee, by the body cameras, by all kinds of stuff. What's not watched over is the city, the part of the city that is in poverty. In my city, it's the East Side, and when I have a unique view of this because I walk alone, and whenever I go over to that side, and this is nothing, I think I know what the problem is. I want to fix it. Black and white people, we both occupy this country, and we both have to live together, no matter, or just kill each other off. And I don't want that to happen. I want a solution to the problem. Now, this statistics come from the FBI, colleges and universities, hundreds of them, and man, I'll leave the link below. But interracial homicides have reached levels not seen since President Barack Obama took office, when rates began a period of steady decline, according to the latest statistics. Now, there's not a lot of, and I think I understand what the problem is. It's the schooling. Now, this is black on white crime and white on black. Now, black people represent roughly 20% of the population in America. And look at the difference. And this includes police killings too. And it goes 500, over 500 to white on black homicides, which peaked off at a little under 250. I know those are scary statistics. That means that black on white homicides are more than double white on black homicides. And that means that there is a problem with black people's trust in white people in America. And I think that comes from schooling. When I was in school, I was taught, we learned about, we learned about, America the Great. We freed ourselves from the British. This is a country where anybody can come. You have the land of opportunity. And then all of a sudden, we did terrible things to the Indians. And then we learned we did terrible things to the black people. And I always felt like I owed the black community something. So every time I went down there, I would try and give my money, and I would always have change to give. And whenever I would encounter a black person, I would instinctively almost look down as, like, I don't know if it was a sign of respect or a sign of regret, or I don't know the right emotion right now, but that's what happens. Now, I don't know what black people in the hood learn, but it's mostly, I knew a couple of white people that went to a black school, and the one guy said he got his lunch money stolen all the time. It was a black principal, and he got into fights all the time, and the black principal would almost kind of blame it on him, like, well, what are you doing to provoke the situation? It was, and when a black person comes to a white, solely white school, they probably don't feel like they're being looked at as equals either. They want, when I see a successful black person in my city, I think he probably wants to be looked at as not down, but as an equal. And it's hard for us to do that because of what we are taught as kids. Now, I don't know what well, I would love to talk to black people that grew up in the hood, that what what they were taught about, you're growing up in a white man's world. They are doing this and this and this and this and this, but I know that reflects that, and it reflects all the way up from poverty until you get into that big job. They're still thinking about it, and the white people are still thinking about it. The white people are still overly nice to the black people, and the black people are still cautiously, I don't really know. It's a secret. Black community is very good, and that makes sense, because when you're a minority, you're going to be very secretive. And well, that's all for now. This video is probably going to be a 2-3 part series, because I have some very, very probably going to creep a lot of people out information on. Okay,